All right, web design, just want to give you some starter code here and just a little help through these first few steps on this Repl assignment where we have to create a table. So if you look at the instructions, it just says that you're a social media or web design specialist and you are creating a website for a band or artist that you choose that's just going to list off their performances like a tour that they have. So the first thing you're going to do is click on the REPL that I have for you already. If you click on this, it will bring up some code that I already put together for you. If I click on the output of what that is, this is all it is. It's really just a blank page, but it has some things that are set up for you, like this title. You can see I already put in there like Pearl Jam 2021 tour, but there's really nothing in there. So that's something that you're going to change. And notice on your screen that you should not be able to change my code because this is something that you can't edit. So what you'll do is you'll create a fork or a copy of this code so you can edit your own. So there should be a button on your screen when you click it up here that says fork. So you're going to click on that fork. It's not on my screen because I am the owner of this thing that I already put in here. So just realize there's a button here called fork and you're going to click that. When you click that, it'll make a copy of the code for you and it'll put it in your own REPLs. One thing that I would suggest doing right away is then renaming that REPL to whatever you want. Rename it to, something that's, specific to you and not just whatever the default was. All right, so you can see here that there's already stuff in the header section. You'll want to change this so you can put in whatever you want there for your performer artist that you want to change up. So just change that. And then also in this main header or heading, you want to change that as well to whatever you're doing. And then inside of this, you can see that there's a comment here that says start coding below. So inside of this div tag is where all your code is basically going to be put when you make your table and your list of performances and their tour. So let's go back to the instructions here. The first instruction was to change that title 1 and H1 element so that you put something that you want. Again, that's going to be right here. So change that to something that's specific to you, one of your favorite bands. And then number 1, just go through a couple of these to get you started. It says in index.html inside the div element that has the container attribute, create a new table element. Okay, well, that's just talking about this section right here. Inside of this div container, which is from here to here, inside of that we're going to create a table element. So we'll do that by just going table. There's a start table tag. I'll hit enter and then I'm going to put my ending table tag right in there. So important to understand that anything in between this now right here is going to be part of the table that we are creating. So we're going to keep putting stuff inside there. All right, so we did step 1, create a new table element. Now step 2, inside of the table element, add a section for table headings using the T head. Then add 2 rows inside of it using the table row element. So again, this was from Code Academy, but if you forget what all this stuff is, then go to W3 Schools, or let's just click on this link here and see what it is. So a T-head tag in HTML, if I look at it, is used to group header content in an HTML table. So if I forget what all this stuff is, there's a nice example here too. I can hit try it yourself. And I can look at W3 content here and just kind of see what a setup of this table is. You can see there's a lot of code there. But a T-head tag is really just grouping the header kind of a table. And sometimes it's not even used at all, but it can be used. So we're going to try it here. So you have a heading here that just groups together the header of the table. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And so let's go back to our REPL. So we're going to, inside here, we're going to put a T head section, a start and an end. And okay, so now I have a section that's the header section. And then inside of that, I'm going to put 2 rows. So I'm going to put a TR in there. So a TR, a start, and an end. Which again, I don't know exactly what I'm going to use for yet, but let's go ahead and do it. So there's 1 row inside of the header. And then it said to create another row. So I'm just going to follow along and go ahead and create that other row. And I haven't put anything in those rows yet. So that would be step 2. Okay. Now step 3, inside of the first row element, add a table heading element. Now that's a TH. Okay, so again, I'm going to go inside of that. Go inside here, inside of this first row. Now that I'm actually going to put something in there, I'm going to hit enter, and you can see it just spaces down here. But I'm going to go ahead and put it's a TH. It's not a T head, it's an actual TH element. So I know it gets kind of, there's a lot of stuff here. There's a lot of tags to remember. That's why you don't have to memorize them all. You can always look up examples. So we have a TH here, and of course I'm going to end that TH. TH right there. Okay, so I think we're going to get to actually putting some stuff in there. Let's see what those things say. All right, so inside of that, create an H1 with the following text. We're going to put concert schedule. This could be specific to your schedule that you choose. So I'm going to go back to here. I know there's a lot to get started here, but here's the TH element. Inside of that, I'm going to have finally a header 1 that says concert schedule. And then I'll end the H1 right there. So, okay. I like to make indentation. You can see how this indentation works. And I like to hit enter to like space these things out so that you don't have things that are hard to read. So really, if I'm looking at this, I have a table header right here. But really, when it comes down to it, there's 1 row that says concert schedule. And then in the second row, that's going to be the next part of our assignment here. So I think we'll get to number 4 here. Inside of the second row, add 2 THs. Okay, so 2 table head elements. So I go back to this, and now I'm going to hit enter here. This is my second row. And you can see above we had 1 TH, but down here in the second row, we're going to put in 2 THs. So I'm going to have a table head section right here. And I'm going to put another one because it said I'm going to have 2. So now I have 2 table head elements that I'm actually going to put stuff in. And let's see here. It says in the first TH, add a heading 2 that says something like event. So I'm going to do that. So here I'm going to hit enter now. I'm going to put a heading 2 that says like event. Okay, and then in the second TH, I'm going to have something that says like location with a H2. So in my second TH, I'll hit enter again, and I'm going to go ahead and put an H2 and put location and end my H2. And that looks like what we have here for the table head. So this is really just setting things up. I want to kind of see what this looks like now, so I'm going to click on this open in a new tab. And okay, and this is actually what it's supposed to look like right now, even though it looks kind of silly because we have to change some of our column spans. So you can see really, and if I bring up the Chrome development tools, you would see those elements laid out here. But basically we have a table, we have these headings here, and we haven't really put any like rows inside of this yet. So let's continue on. So we're on step 5, and it says you may notice that concert schedule or whatever you put in there doesn't stretch across the table, so we want to fix that. So in the opening TH tag of this element, we're going to add a column span of 2 so that it spans 2 columns instead of just 1 column. So we're going to go back here, and so see this TH right here, this concert schedule. We look at it, it's only spanning 1 column. It's not actually going through the second column. So I'm going to change that by going to this H1, or this table heading tag right here, not the H1, and telling the heading to say col span and equals 2 instead of the default 1. And so if we look at that update, I hit F5, you can see now that my table, I kind of just brought this over so that I have basically 2 headings here, a concert schedule, and then we have an event and location headings up here. And now we're really just going to put a bunch of these rows in here that show my tour dates. So going back here, number 6, it says below the T-head tag section, now create a section using the table body element. Okay, so again, table body, if I look back to that example, right, you can see what I mean. This has the same pattern here. After the table header, there was a T body or a table body, and that's just specifying that everything inside here is going to be part of this, the main chunk of this table, the body of the table. And it looks like we're just going to have rows of data inside of here. Okay, it's going to be pretty similar setup to what we're doing in our project. So I'm going to go here, and then after the heading now, I'm going to start here now. I'm going to put T body. This is the body of my table. And now I'm going to create a start and an end. And now I can put stuff inside there. So it says section off using the table body element. And then number 7, inside of the table body you created in the previous, create 5 rows using the table row element. Okay. So this is where I'm gonna leave it off. I want you to try to figure this out now. If you've been following along all throughout, see what you can do. The end results of this, let me show you what it might look like. And so here is, just a general layout here. I have the concert schedule, date and location, and then I basically just have like 5 table rows here with a date and with a location. And so you can basically just see I have a table here. Feel free to kind of, once you get this up and running, to go inside the you go inside of the if you go inside the style.css file. Again, we haven't done any CSS, but some of the stuff will be pretty self-explanatory to change. So you look at background color. You can change the background color, and Repl makes it easy because you can actually just click on this color palette. I think maybe you can't. I think if you just hover over these numbers, and we'll talk about this obviously a lot more when we get into CSS, but you can change your background up. You can change the color scheme, see what looks nice. So maybe it doesn't really matter, but I'll just change it to something. And then if you do that, well, that kind of looks bad, but you get the picture. You can mess with the styling settings, changing different colors, changing different fonts, just kind of messing around with this CSS stuff to see if you can make it look good and maybe cater it to your band's kind of theme. And then if you want to add anything, well, this kind of looks bad, so I'm going to put this back. Let's see if I put that back. There we go. Okay. But if you want to try anything else, you want to put a picture in there, you want to just try different things, feel free to do that. But other than that, this is pretty much what the end result is going to kind of look like.